Let us see the second part of the topic classification of elements and periodicity in property. Last video we discussed regarding historic development or a genesis for a periodic table, and also we find modern periodic table classification in case of modern periodic table in terms of a groups and a period and number of elements present and so on. Today we go with another important aspect, some basic part, and also the periodicity in properties. First, you should go with respect to the electronic configuration and division of elements. So, in case of our periodic table, where elements are arranged in modern periodic table with respect to atomic number, mainly based on the electronic configurations. Okay, based on the last electron entered to the respective orbital, we divide into 4 blocks. So, electronic configuration and division of elements. So, for S block element, if a given element, if it is S block, how you can say it is a S block? By after writing electronic configuration, last electron, if it is entered to the S orbital, then it belongs to S block. If it is entered to P orbital, P block, D orbital, D block, and F orbital, F block. So based on the last electron entered to the respective orbital while writing electronic configuration. And for S block element, the electronic configuration is 1s2. Ns2. So n takes value either 1 to 7. Okay. Here n value either it is 1 to 7 observed. Okay. So n nothing but valence shell. So ns2 is the configuration. S orbital with 2 electron can accommodate maximum. And for P block, it shows ns2 np6. ns2 np6. ns1 or ns2. After that np6. Maybe p1, p2, p3, p4, or we can say total it is p6. And for D block element, n minus 1 D 1 to 10, ns 1 to 2. So it can accommodate 1 electron in D or all the 10 electron, and also in ns it may accommodate 1 electron or it may be 2 electrons. So n minus 1 D 1 to 10, ns2 is the general electronic configuration for D block element. These are the general electronic configuration. In that n minus 1 nothing but a penultimate shell. Okay, penultimate shell means simply we can say inner shell. First inner shell. N is the valence shell. It takes either 1 to 7. N minus 1 is 1 less than that. So that is called penultimate shell or the valence shell, inner shell. So first inner shell. And next for F block element, n minus 2, F1 to 14, n minus 1 will be either 0 or 1, ns2. So this is the general electronic configuration. N minus 2, F1 to 14, N minus 1 will be either 0, 1 or ns2. That means in case of S block, D orbital will not occupy completely, either 0 electron or in some case 1 electron is present. So in this case, N minus 2 nothing but anti-penultimate shell. Anti-penultimate shell, or it is a second inner shell. So n is valence shell, n minus 1 is penultimate shell, n minus 2 is called anti-penultimate shell. So these are the general electronic configuration for these 4 blocks. Okay. Now it is very difficult to remember the position of all the 118 elements in your periodic table. To find out the position of elements in the modern periodic table, we go with some method or tricks to find out the position. So prediction of period, group number, and block of a particular element. So identification of period number, group number, and block of the element. So all these stress about position of element. For that, period number, we have to go with the one matrix, that is valence shell. The valence shell tells about the period number. So you have to go on write the electronic configuration. For all the cases, 2's behind is electronic configuration. For that atom or for that element, find out the number of electrons present, atomic number, write the electronic configuration. In that, the valence shell that tells about the period number. And while writing electronic configuration, you may find last electron entered to which orbital. If the last electron entered to the respective orbital, it may be S or P or D or F, then that tells about the block number. The block number, that means F block or a P block or a D block or a F block. So last electron entered to the respective orbital. So period number, valence shell, block number, that is block present, the respective last electron entered to the orbital. But for the group number, some the relations or tricks are there. So after identification of block number, easy to identify the group number. Suppose the element that last electron entered to the S block or S orbital. Then for S block, so many elements are there, and the number of valence electron tells about the group number. For S block, number of valence electron tells about the group number, and for P block, 10 plus number of valence shell electron. So for P block, 10 plus number of valence shell electron, and for D block, n minus 1 d electron and ns electron. Total number of d orbital electron, n minus 1 d means the first inner shell electron, n minus 1 d and ns electron. Here for D block, both valence shell electron as well as inner shell electrons are added. And for F block, always remember, F block element shows group number 3. Okay, so for all the F block element, it shows group number 3. Like that, for S block, number of valence electron, P block 10 plus number of valence electron, and for D block n minus 1 d electron and ns electron, and for F block group number 3. So like that, both period number, block as well as group number can be identified. Let us go with the example. I have a hydrogen, its atomic number is going to be 1 and electronic configuration is 1s1. Now tell me which block, which period and which group where this hydrogen is belongs. So it is observed that, look at that, this 1 indicate n value, 1 indicate n value, s indicate the orbital here. So I see that this n value, normally orbital represented n l power x. Okay, so the n stands for the period number, n stands for the period number. Actually it is a principal quantum number, or it is a shell number, n indicate. Here it is considered as a period number, and then the x indicate number of electron, and l tells about which orbital where it occupies or which block. Okay, so this l stands for the block number. So here it is, only one electron is there, so it belongs to period number, it is 1, that means it belongs to first period, and only one electron is there that occupies the s orbital, as well as the block number is going to be s, it belongs to s block, and for s block, total number of valence electron. Look at that, this itself is the one of the valence shell, so only one electron is there, as well as it shows the group number is going to be 1. So hydrogen belongs to first group. Like that, period number, block and group identification can be done. Let us go for the boron. Atomic number of boron is 5. Electronic configuration found to be 1s2, then 2s2, after that 2p1. And here it is observed that 2s2 2p1 is the valence shell. So that valence shell clearly says period number is going to be second. So boron belongs to second period in the modern periodic table. And here after completion of 2 electron in s orbital, next electron goes to, last electron goes to p orbital. As a result, this boron belongs to p block. So block, it is a p block. Boron element belongs to p block. Okay. Since after filling 2 electron in 1s, next goes to 2s, and 2 electron accumulated, next one more left, that is the 5th electron, that goes to 2p. That's the last electron goes to p orbital, so the boron belongs to p block. And after that, the group number, for p block, group number is 10 plus number of valence electron. So here it is observed that 10 plus valence shell. So here 2 is the valence shell. Here we have to add 2 from 2s, 1 from 2p. So 2 plus 1, totally 3. So that means it belongs to 13th group of the periodic table. So here it is, 2 is the valence shell, 2s2, 2p2, 2p1. Both 2 and 1 are considered for the number of valence electron for p. Similarly, for the chlorine, it shows 1s2, then 2s2, after that 2p6. Totally it carried 10 electron. Now totally 7 electron left. 3s2 and 3p5. So this is the electronic configuration for the chlorine. So total number of electron 5 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2. Total it is 17. And in this case, valence shell tells about the period number. Look at that. 3 is the ultimate product. So this is the valence shell electronic configuration. So the period number here it is going to be 3. So the chlorine belongs to third period. And after that, block. Since 2 electron in 3s and next remaining 5 electron in the 3p orbital. Means last electron entered to the p orbital. So block, that is p block. So chlorine belongs to p block. And next goes to number of group number, in which group where it is belongs to. And since it is a p block element, for p block 10 plus number of valence electron. So here it is group number 10 plus number of valence shell electron. 10 plus. How many number of valence shell electron? 3 is the valence shell. 2 belongs to 3s, 5 belongs to 3p, total 5 plus 2, 7. So 10 plus 7 nothing but that is belongs to 17th group. So our chlorine that is belongs to 17th group. So group number, period number is 3, block, p block and group that belongs to 17. Similarly we can go for the titanium. So titanium atomic number is 22. It shows electronic configuration 1s2, then 2s2, after that 2p6, then 3s2, then 3p6, after that 4s and then 3d. So here totally 18 electron. 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 6 means up to here is 18 electron. And this is also written as for electronic configuration of argon. Totally it is 18. Then totally we left with the 4 electron, out of which 2 electron occupies in 4s, remaining 2 electron goes to 3d. Remaining 2 electron goes to 3d. So 20 plus 2, 22. Now tell me, so here whether 4s occupies the last electron or 3d occupies the last electron according to energy level or against electronic configuration. So 3d is the lower energy, whereas 4s is going to be higher energy. So here it is last electron enter to the 3d orbital. So as that it belongs to group number is going to be d. And if you wanted to find out the period number, so which is the period number? Third and fourth among to which is the valence shell? 4 is the valence shell. So as the period number is 4. Okay, and then we go with the this is the block number. Next period number, next group number, it is going to be. So here it is since it is a d block element. For d block element, n minus 1 d electron and ns electron. So n minus 1 d and ns electrons are there. Here it is 2 electron from d and 2 electron from 4s. That's the 2 plus 2. Fourth group. So as the titanium belongs to group number 4, period number is 4, and then belongs to d block. So like that, using this short methods, it is possible to find the position of element in the modern periodic table. Let us see another concept in the periodic table, periodicity in properties. The main advantage of our modern periodic table is to look about some basic information for the different element while comparing that. It is very difficult to remember the property, each and every property of all the 118 elements, but we can compare it. Using periodic table, it is possible to compare some of the important properties. So let us go with the periodicity in properties. So it is observed that from the modern periodic table, some properties are repeated for set of elements. And those properties, after certain intervals of atomic number, the properties are found to be, it is repeated. Like we observed in the Newland law of octaves. What is that? Every 8th element, their property exactly equal to the first element. Similarly here also, whatever the elements are present in the periodic table, after regular intervals of atomic number, their properties are found to be same also. So let us see those important properties called periodicity properties. A repetitive arrangement of repetition of the some important properties after regular intervals with respect to the atomic number is nothing but periodicity properties. There are 4 important periodicity properties are there. One, atomic and ionic radii. Okay, atomic and ionic radii, or simply we can say size, atomic size or ionic radii. The second one, ionization energy. It is also called one more name, ionization potential. Then electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy. The last one, electronegativity. So these are the 4 important periodicity property or periodic properties. Atomic and ionic radii, ionization energy, electron affinity, that is also one more name, electron gain enthalpy, another one is electronegativity. Let us see one by one. The first goes to atomic and ionic radii. So let us see first atomic radii. What is that atomic radii? Radius with respect to an atom is atomic radius. What about ionic radii? Radius with respect to ion. Remember, both atom and ions are not possible to separate individually because very small size in terms of nanometer or in terms of angstrom. As a result, if particle is or atom not separated means what about their size measurement? Highly it is very difficult, not at all possible. But average value taken and thereby it is measured. Let us see first atomic radius. So this is basically the distance between the nucleus and valence shell electron. Okay, we have atom. Atom normally represented as nucleus is present at the center and electrons are revolved around the nucleus according to Bohr's atomic model. So here it is observed that different shells are there, first, second shell. Let us say in the first shell electrons are there, second shell is also having electron, third shell is also having electron. Now tell me whether first shell is the valence shell or a third shell is the valence shell. The ultimate shell is the valence shell. This is the valence shell. So the distance between the nucleus and the electron present in the valence shell, this is nothing but our atomic radius. It is very difficult to measure that. It is not at all possible to measure using any device. But average value is taken. So the distance between the nucleus and electron present in the valence shell tells about the atomic radius. Suppose if it is an atom, then it is atomic radius. Suppose if it is an ion, after removal of electron or adding of electron, the atom becomes ion, then it is called as an ionic radius. So as such from the atom it is not possible to measure, but in the presence of a molecule it is possible. Okay, so basically distance between nucleus and valence shell electron present in an atom is nothing but it is atomic radius. So there are totally three different types of way we can say measure the atomic radius. So all those are in combined state, means atoms are combined with another atom or a same atom. There are three radius are there. One is covalent radius, the next comes metallic radius, and the third one is van der Waals radius. And in covalent radius, let us say there is a diagram. So this is a circle for one atom A, this is another circle for another atom B. Look at that. In this circle, two atoms are overlapped to each other. Atom overlapping nothing but there is a formation of a bond between them. That means in combined state or a bonded form, it is possible to measure. Okay. So here, covalent bond is present between atom A and atom B. So atom A and atom B may be same size or a different size. Normally different size one can observe, and only in few cases same size. Suppose the hydrogen atoms are there in the both sides, the size of these two hydrogen atoms are same. Similarly, if one is hydrogen and other one chlorine present, then in that covalent bond, hydrogen shows smaller size, whereas chlorine shows bigger size. Thus, that accurately not possible to measure the radius using covalent radius. But what we do is, it is possible to measure the distance between the nucleus. Okay, distance between the nucleus can be identified. That distance is nothing but DAB, internuclear distance. So in this case, in all three cases, DAB here is nothing but internuclear distance. Internuclear distance. Later it is also called one more name, bond length. Okay, bond length. So using internuclear distance, take average value divided by 2. So half of the internuclear distance that tells about the radius, it is observed in covalent bonded situation. That is why called covalent radius. So covalent radius is the half of the distance between the internuclear presence, or you can say internuclear distance. So half of the internuclear distance between two atoms in the covalent bonded state, that is nothing but covalent radius. So this is one way of measurement. Similarly, if the bond present is metallic bond, let us say A, B are the two metal atoms. Okay, and here there is no overlapping. Here overlapping is there, means strong bond is present, but here it is a weak bond. So just these two spheres or a circle are touched just to each other. Okay, and in this case also internuclear distance is measured. Remember, internuclear distance DAB in covalent radius, DAB in metallic radius are different. Normally DAB in a covalent radius is less, whereas DAB in case of ionic radius, metallic radius is going to be more. Clearly one can find from the diagram. So here the distance, or you can say here the atoms are not overlapped, just touches, but here atoms are overlapped. So AB distance is smaller, whereas this AB distance is more. So here also what we do is take internuclear distance as a DAB, take average of that, divide by 2. So average distance, or you can say half of the distance between the internuclear distance in case of a metallic atom, that tells about the metallic radius. So half of the internuclear distance tells about the metallic radius. This is applicable only for those elements, normally metal, present in metallic bond. Normally in metallic atom, metal solids you are observing this. But in the van der Waals radius, there is no bond present between the atoms. But here what you find is AB is the one molecule. Their bond is there, but between these two AB there is no bond. So this is the one AB, this is another AB. Between them there is no bond, just force of attraction is present. So in that case, what we do is to measure the size or a radius, we take distance between the two molecules, nearest molecule, and that distance is nothing but intermolecular distance. So here DAB is nothing but intermolecular distance. Take average value of that. So half of the intermolecular distance or distance between the two atoms closest to each other. So that tells about the van der Waals radius. And here van der Waals radius is going to be more observed because the distance is going to be more. Nuclear distance or molecular distance is more. So in this case, molecular distance is less. As a if you take average value of that ratio, covalent radius RC is symbol for covalent radius. Covalent radius, if you take is has a 1, then metallic radius becomes 1.2 times, whereas van der Waals radius shows 2 times. That means van der Waals radius are bigger than the metallic as well as covalent radius. Like that, it is possible to measure the atomic radius for a different atom. So there is no one way, we can go with 3 different ways. So if an atom present in a covalent bonded situation, covalent radius, metallic bonded situation, metallic radius, and in van der Waals bonded situation, van der Waals radius are measured. Let us see some information regarding ionic radius. First, you should know how ions are generated. Remember, we have an atom here. It is an atom that is in neutral state. Neutral means charge is going to be 0. Number of proton, number of electron matches exactly equal as the charge is 0. So we have a neutral atom here. To that, add an electron and that taken by A and becomes A minus. After adding one electron, it shows number of electron increase and that is designated as minus, or we can say minus 1. If one electron is added, A minus 1. 2 electrons added, A minus 2. 3 electrons are added, A minus 3. Like that it goes. And maximum number of electrons can added is 3, not more than that. Okay. And after adding one electron, and it becomes anion. Okay. After adding one electron, it becomes anion. It becomes anion. And after removal of one electron from that neutral atom, it shows positive charge increase, proton number increase, thereby decrease of the electron number. So that way it is indicated by plus. So this shows the cation formation. This shows the cation formation. So after adding electron becomes anion, after removal of electron it becomes cation. So if you remove one electron, A plus, 2 electron, A plus 2, 3 electron, A plus 3, like that one can find. Here also maximum number of electron removed at a time, that is 3, not more than that. So this cation and anion, their radius to be find out. Same thing here also. Distance between nucleus and valence electron of that cation becomes a cationic radius. Distance between nucleus and valence electron of that anion nothing but anionic radius. And here it is observed that compare the size of anion, neutral atom and cation. Always remember, size of cations are very small because electrons are removed. Number of electrons in the valence shell decreases. So number of electron decrease means size of cation is less, whereas size of anion found to it is more. So anion bigger size compared to neutral atom shows bigger size compared to cation. So this is the order where we have to remember. And if a number of cations are more observed, then a cation with more positive, smaller size, less positive, bigger size. Similarly, with anion, more negative, bigger size, less positive, that is found to be less negative, found to be smaller size. For example, we have A plus 1 charge, A plus 2 charge, A plus 3 charge. This is observed after removal of 1 electron. This is observed after removal of 2 electrons. This is observed after removal of 3 electrons. Now tell me, which shows bigger size? This is shows bigger size. We remove only 1 electron, remaining electrons are there. Now distance is more, or size is going to be more, whereas plus 3 size smaller. But the same element, if it is add electron, -1 charge, after that A -2 charge, then A -3 charge. In this case, as the number of electron added more observed, negative charge if it is increased, size goes on increases. This is a point that should be noted. In general, anions are bigger size compared to neutral atom, and cations are smaller in the size. Let us see in our periodic table how this variation can be identified. What about the increase or decrease of the size across the period, or I can say down the group. So it is observed that down the group, size goes on increases. For example, group 1 element starting from hydrogen, next lithium, then we go with sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So if you move from top to bottom, that is called as a down the group, size goes on increase. Why? Because shell number increases, electron present in that shell increase, as well we can say size goes on increase. Mainly because of increase of the shell number. But across the period, if you move from left to right across the period, size decreases. Because electrons are observed added to the same shell. Here shell number will not increase. Electron added to the same shell. But in this case, electrons are observed in a different shell. Here valence shell increase, shell number increase, but here shell number remains constant. As is across the period, size decrease, whereas down the group, size goes on increases taking place. And also here one more factor, effect nuclear charge. Proton number goes on increases, that is why size goes on decreases. Remember, as the number of proton increase, size goes on decreases taking place. Nuclear charge goes on increases. So this is the trend we have to remember. Let us say what are the parameters or the factors that will influence the atomic as well as ionic radii or size, both atomic as well as ionic. Atomic and ionic radii that will follow these important factors. Remember, size, it is directly proportional to it is observed that nuclear charge. Size directly proportional to nuclear charge. If nuclear charge is more observed, then inversely proportional to nuclear charge. If the nuclear charge is more, size goes on decreases. Inversely proportional. Nuclear charge is more, nothing but size decrease. And if you go for the anion, so as the charge of the anion increases, size goes on increase, as I already said. So negative -3 more, we can say bigger in size, whereas A-1 smaller in the size. So size is directly proportional to negative charge. Whereas for the positive charge, again inversely proportional. Greater the positive charge, smaller the size. So size +1 charge is more, whereas +3 charge is going to be less. So these are the factors. So it depends on nuclear charge, inversely proportional. It depends on the negative charge, and it depends on the positive charge, but it is inversely proportional. These two are inversely proportional, but this is directly proportional to each other. And also, for a competitive exam point of view, size also depends on one more parameter. If electron in s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, and f orbital. So if electron present in s orbital, then that atom shows bigger size, and rather than the p orbital, that is called penetration power. So penetration power. So directly proportional to penetration power. So if electron present in s orbital shows bigger size, whereas if it is occupies the f orbital, smaller size. So size, this is the order one can find. So this is the for higher level, but we can remember penetration power. Okay, like that it is possible to find the size in case of an atom as well as ions. Let us see for atomic and ionic size for isoelectronic species. What about for isoelectronic species? Isoelectronic species means it may carry cation or anion or a neutral atom. What about the radius? And for isoelectronic, what is the meaning of isoelectronic? A set of species having same number of electrons. That is nothing but isoelectronic. Number of electrons is same, but proton number is going to be different. Nuclear charge is going to be different. And in this case, we have to go with this relation. Since number of electrons is same, if the same number of electrons is present, size never same, because nuclear charge is going to be different. In this case, very simple. Size, we go with this shortcut form. Size, that is isoelectronic species, directly proportional to negative charge and inversely proportional to positive charge. Like those species having positive charge, smaller size. Those species having negative charge, that is bigger size. So as that among these three, nitrogen ion, oxide ion, fluoride ion, neon, sodium ion, magnesium ion, and aluminum ion, all the cases number of electrons are So has risen. And look about the condition. So more negative charge, bigger size. So N3 minus is a more negative charge compared to minus 2. Okay, and compared to minus 2 minus 1, minus 2 bigger size. And anions are bigger size compared to neutral atom. But compared to cation, neutral atoms are bigger size. And as the positive charge increases, size goes on, it is decrease. So as a result, size increases more negative, then neutral, then decreases to more positive. So this is the order we can find for isoelectronic species.